Roses are red, violets are blue. We're in the kitchen chefing up something really special just for you. We're making a clam and conch etouffee. Welcome back to Chef It Up, everyone. I'm your host, Thea Smith. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen once again. Happy Valentine's Day. No pun on your name. Chef De Swann is now in the kitchen with me. And if you guys weren't able to book those reservations to some of your favorite restaurants for this lover's night, she's in the kitchen and she's going to show us how we can make Valentine's Day just a little bit more special at home. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Chef De Swann, I love your name, by the way.
Thank you.
I love it. De Swann, I love it. So we're making a conch and clam etouffee.
Yes.
And tell me exactly, what is an etouffee?
Etouffee is usually made with shrimp. It's a Louisiana dish. It's Cajun. It's got that little bit of spice, but we're going to put a Bahamian flair on it today and give you something that you can have for Valentine's Day.
All right. Is this something like a jambalaya, gumbo, a mix between?
No, there's a specific difference between jambalaya, gumbo, and etouffee. An etouffee is usually a seafood dish, a smothered seafood dish with rice.
Okay.
Gumbo is a bit thinner and it's a soup and it has sausage in it, and then jambalaya is a mixture of rice. It's like sort of like the cousin of paella.
I love paella.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we going along the right lines here,
Yes.
right? All right, so where do we get started with our conch and clam etouffee?
Well, first we're going to we've got some water going here for our rice so that we can have that ready by the time as we get all of this good stuff going.
All right, perfect.
So we're going to start off with making a roux.
Okay, and what's a roux?
A roux is a flour and butter mixture, and it helps thicken the sauce that we're going to be using for our etouffee. So we're going to make the roux, and at the same time we're probably going to need to put on the clams and the conch so that they can have a light boil. We don't want it to get chewy, so we just want it to have like a little cooked because it's going to get mixed in at the end with all of the good stuff.
So let's get started on our Valentine's Day dish then. Where do we go?
Yes. Okay. Let's just turn this a little bit.
So our water's boiling there, guys, for our rice. We're going to go now to this pan.
Right. And we're going to get ready. So we've got this going. We got this getting a little hot.
And just to introduce you guys a little bit to Chef De Swann, she's a private chef for some very top secret people in the country. She can't tell us, but what she can talk about is her own personal catering service you have?
Yes.
All right, talk to me a little bit about that and how you got started as we cook.
Okay. I'm just going to add like 2 tablespoons of butter.
Okay.
I'm a personal chef and I do a little bit of catering, boutique catering, because I don't really do too many large functions. I will do it, but not too many of those. And what I try to do is give you exactly what you want. You don't have to go into the rush of going to a restaurant, driving, and any of that stuff. I can come to your house. I also do teaching. I do teaching with cooking. Like you can have your book club come over and we can do a little cooking class or something like that. So I do that type of stuff.
So someone can learn to make this etouffee.
Yes, hands-on.
Girls' night out, husband and wife maybe.
All right. Get your couples and y'all come over and we'll cook it up.
Awesome. All right. So she just put 2 tablespoons of butter in this pan. We're making our roux. As she said, it's going to make the sauce a little bit thicker. So where do we go next?
So we're going to let this melt down a little bit, and then we're going to add flour.
Okay.
And we're just going to keep mixing that up. Equal amounts of flour to butter.
So that was 2 tablespoons?
Yes.
2 tablespoons of each. Okay.
Right. And so we're just going to get that in there. It's something like how you make stew.
Okay,
Yeah, you want to use that stuff. So it's going to get tight. But now what we want to do is we're going to add the onions.
Okay, so
and so we're going to add
diced onions.
like a half a cup of onions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this is all just for the sauce that our clam and our conch is going to sit in.
And this is all going to add that flavor.
Y'all know I like to eat, so I can already smell that this is going to be good. Of course, our water is bubbling over here.
Let's add our rice so that we can get that cooking up.
All right, where's the rice? Oh, there's the rice over there. And we're using jasmine rice. Any particular reason why? I love jasmine rice, but any particular reason why this is your choice?
This is just the rice that I eat, and I don't trust all these other rice that's going around here.
Well,
go with what you know.
Yeah, and jasmine rice has a beautiful smell as well. Like I love cooking jasmine rice, and you know, throughout the house, you just start to smell that just to take over the walls. So jasmine rice tastes really good. Not long grain at all, which I like, and it smells really good as well.
Yep. So with Louisiana cooking, usually with classical cooking, they would say that the Holy Trinity is onion, celery, and carrots. But in Louisiana, they use bell peppers, celery, and onions instead. So they don't use the carrots. So we're just gonna let this cook down a little bit.
And so is this spicy Cajun Louisiana style your specialty, or what do you consider your specialty in the kitchen?
I wouldn't say that it's my specialty, but I think
like
that it's, I like it, and I think that it's something that our people would like because we like rice.
Yeah.
And this has rice.
And it's spicy.
I mean, who don't like rice, right? And it has conch.
Awesome.
And who don't like conch, right?
Right.
So.
All right, so our roux is going, guys. And of course, in this pan, we just put 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. That's correct?
Yes.
Some onions.
Right.
And we're just
gonna grab that celery there.
Okay,
we're gonna put some of the celery in.
Mixing this all. Just a cup of celery here. All of it?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So Chef Day, have you ever made this dish for a special someone on Valentine's Day?
Well,
that's considering there is or was one, baby.
I've never made this dish for a special someone. I make this for the people that I work for.
Okay, do they like it?
And they love it.
Oh, awesome.
So that's a good thing. So what we want to do now, we made a broth from the seafood items that we're putting in here. So I'm going to add it to, like, loosen this up just a little bit before we add the bell peppers.
Okay.
And we're going to add the bell peppers last because, you know, they're softer. We want the onion to get a little caramelized, and we want the celery to cook a little bit, but with the bell peppers, you don't want it to be, you know, too soft.
Mushy, yeah.
Right. So we're going to add some of our wonderful stock that I made from the shells of the clams and the skin of the conch and the conch bubby and all that good stuff that you leave on the dock. You take that home and you add some celery and you add onions and carrots and you make your little stock.
So all the things that we sometimes throw away that we can use.
You use everything.
Awesome.
Let's use everything. So I'm gonna grab that from the fridge.
Rice. All right. So let me just turn this. Let me turn our rice down a little and finish our roux, guys. Just a reminder, we are making a clam and conch etouffee. Like she said, it's a Bahamian spin on a Louisiana favorite.
Yes.
All right. And so now Chef Day is coming in with our broth that she said she made from the conch bubby and what else?
Keep mixing.
The conch bubby.
And some shells, lobster shells, and shrimp shells.
All right. And so how did you just let them soak, or how did you make the broth?
I cooked it. I just put it in the pot and let it boil and reduce. And I just put in herbs and thyme, and we're going to use this now to help loosen that up a little bit.
This smells just like Montague Dock. Really good, real earthy, real Bahamian, you know?
Yeah.
All right. And so I see that how it's getting thick there.
Right.
So that
we
flour,
want that thickness.
Right, that flour and that butter that we used earlier is really bringing this all together. All right.
So let's get a little bit more broth. You want to put it in?
You need some
more
more broth?
from you. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me how much?
Go light.
Light.
Yes.
So you say to the girl with happy hands. Go again?
Yes, a little bit more. Okay, good. That's good for now.
And why do you think this is a good dish to make, you know, for someone to make at home on Valentine's Day?
Because I think that it's a pretty simple dish, and it's something that's flavorful and it's different, because everyone gets tired of eating the same things and we make it the same way. So this is a little something different that we don't normally get, so that we could, you know, have a little different taste on our palates for V-Day.
Awesome. What are your V-Day plans?
I'm going to be working.
Working today?
Yep.
Really?
Working all day.
But hopefully you get a chance to go out and, you know, have some fun somewhere. Well, tell me one of your favorite Valentine's Day experiences then.
Valentine's Day. One Valentine's Day, my ex, he gave me chafing dishes. Could you imagine that? It's the most memorable one. It may not be the best one, but it's the most memorable one.
It works for you. You still have the chafing dishes?
I'm like, really? Did you buy me chafing dishes?
Do you still have them?
Yes.
Okay, so he won. He is a winner.
Okay, can you grab the bell peppers?
Sure, okay.
Okay.
So you want all of them?
We want to stick the green ones in first.
Okay, why the green first?
Because we really want these red ones for the end to add a little bit of color.
Ah, yeah, you don't want them to burn out too much.
So we don't want all the color to be gone. So we'll just go with that for now. And then we can add a little bit more stock.
A little bit more of our Montague or Portuguese stock.
Yeah, Montague for sure. Okay.
This is coming along nicely, and I love the smell. Like I say, the conkiness, that dark feeling is like you're really about to dive into something real, authentically Bahamian.
Man, this is gonna be that good stuff.
Now tell us now, our rice over here is still going. What's the secret to making some good, non-sticky, non-friendly rice?
You just have to know how to make rice.
That's a trick though. That's a trick in itself.
I don't know, because I have never measured rice in my life.
Are you serious?
Like never. So I don't know how people mess it up. My rice
I know
just
a lot of
comes
people
out.
say once it comes to the hill.
Right.
Like once you see the hill, then you stop.
The old people, they tell you just pour until you see it peak at the top.
Just pour a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They never have any measurements, any real directions as to how to cook, but the food is always good.
Yeah.
So our rice is going, guys. I guess she just went with her expertise.
I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic to this now. This is about a teaspoon of garlic.
Okay. And I love this dish too, how we're making this, because as you can see, we're having conversation. And so it'll be good for two people, I think, to do together,
This is a great couples dish.
I know, I could see that, I could feel it, the aphrodisiac of the conch already. It already makes it a couple's dish. So a pinch of salt we're putting in.
Like 2 pinches.
All right, 2 pinches of salt. Awesome, that roux is coming along greatly.
Yes.
I love it.
Let's put a little bit of the browning so we can get a little color.
Okay. Just some browning here.
A little bit, Miss Happy Hats. We don't want it to get too dark. Okay, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah, just like that.
Pouring in some browning, you guys. Okay, and we're making the roux for our conch and clam etouffee. Of course, in this pot, we just put. We started off with some flour and some butter and some flour. We let that get a little thick.
Right.
Then we added in some. What did we add in there?
Then we added the onions.
The onions, and
then we put a little bit of stock in.
A little bit of our homemade dock stock. Our dock stock. And then we just added in some green peppers, and then I just put a pinch of browning in there just to give that nice brown color. And so this is the roux.
Yep.
Almost done, or is it done?
Almost done. Smells good, right?
Smells like a meal all on its own.
Yep, and no meat in it yet.
And no meat is even in it. Of course, then we put a little 2 pinches of salt, and we just mix that.
Yes.
Keep going. All right. So our conch and clam etouffee, a Bahamian spin on something quite Louisiana. You guys, this is Chef It Up. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Chef It Up, everyone. We are still whipping up our Valentine's Day meal with Chef De Swann. And of course, before we went to break, we got our roux going, right?
Yep.
For our little sauce that our clam and conch etouffee is gonna sit in. And so in this pot, we put some butter, some flour, some salt. What else did we do?
Onions.
Some onions, some celery, a little green pepper. We just let that thicken and get all gooey and stuff. And in this pot, we have our rice going, our jasmine rice that's smelling so beautiful. And then in this pot, we have our conch and clams going already, right? We started to boil those down a little, and we just threw them in there with some water, right? That was it?
Thyme and salt. That's
water, thyme, and salt with our conch and our clam. And so what kind of textures are you really looking for from the conch and the clam?
Okay, we want our conch to be nice and juicy and not chewy, so we don't want to overcook the conch. And as soon as the clams are open, we know that they're done, and our clams are definitely open.
Yes, they are.
So we're just gonna drain this now and get ready for our next step.
All right.
So this is pretty much good. This is perfect, actually.
Awesome. So Chef De Swann, tell us a little bit more about you. How did you get your culinary start?
Well, I actually went to Johnson Wales University, and when I went to college, I wanted to do nutrition, but they didn't have the nutrition at the campus that I wanted to go to. The campus I wanted to go to was freezing, and I'm a tropical fish, and tropical fish need tropical water, so I needed to be in Miami. So I was like, okay.
Where were they trying to send you, Rhode Island?
Yes. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to Rhode Island, because they had just had this horrible snowstorm, and I'm like, not
gonna work.
No. So I ended up going to the Miami campus, and I did culinary and hospitality management there.
And you fell in love?
Yep.
All right.
And I've been there ever since.
So how long have you been a private chef?
I have been a private chef since 2003.
Okay, a little while now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask how old you are. I almost asked how old you are because you look so young, but I would save that for off camera. What has been like your most memorable experience being a chef?
Well, I've got the opportunity to work with a lot of really awesome people, and not everyone's so nice, but everyone's nice to the chef because, you know, I've got to
They gotta
feed
eat.
you. So it would be in your best interest to be nice to me. So it's been pretty good. And I've worked with some really amazing people, celebrities, and mostly diplomats, but it's been really.
So name drop, who are some of these celebrities? I like to know.
I don't wanna name drop.
No?
But let's say, we had like really great guests come over for dinner, like Sean Connery.
Oh, nice.
At one point I had worked for the British High Commissioner, and we had to make haggis. Do you know what haggis is?
No, what is that?
Haggis is this like intestines type meal stuffed with more intestines.
Wow.
It was really nasty, and at that time I was a vegan, and so I had to make this thing, and they shipped all this stuff in from Scotland for me to make for this dinner, and like anyone that's from the UK was at the house for this event.
Intestines.
And it was some type of special, I don't know, for the guy that made the song Old Lang Syne, the New Year song.
Oh, yeah.
And so
interesting.
what they told me 5 minutes before I'm about to put the intestines out for the people to eat, they're like, oh, the chef has to parade the food first. So I had to walk out like this.
Oh, no.
Holding the haggis on a platter.
Was that in your contract?
I'm like, what?
Was that in your contract?
No.
I would be like, I didn't sign off on this.
Nobody told me about this stuff. And so I had to walk around, and everyone started following me. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into?
With intestines on top of your head. Anyway, we're not eating intestines today, guys. Just a funny story from Chef De Swann.
Yes.
We are actually eating conch and clam etouffee, and we're about to now drain off the water from boiling our conch and clam. So let's do that.
Like, I would normally like to keep this water, but since we have our good broth going over there, I'll just throw it out today.
And like she said, she doesn't throw away anything. And so, speaking of that broth that she made from conch babbies and shells, is that the right term, conch babby?
That's
it
what we
sounds
call
so
it.
weird, but you're not Bahamians. That's what we call it. So, just made from everything from the dock. So, our brew is just sitting and waiting for us to tend to it. This rice smells really good, and as you could see, guys, well, I don't know if you saw, but we never mixed this rice.
No.
And maybe that's the secret to not getting mushy rice.
Maybe, don't touch it.
We never mixed it. We just literally put it in there with the water and just let it boil all the way out.
We're gonna jaffalage, take some of this extra stuff out of here.
All right. This smells really good. That boy thyme is a serious thing, eh?
Yeah.
Smells so good, so flavorful. Just adds so much life to any dish.
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pretty much pour this stuff into the
roux that we made. Okay.
We're gonna keep a little bit on the outside. We're just gonna mix that up. Wanna mix that up?
Sure.
And at this point, I'm gonna add a little bit of Cajun.
Of course, that Louisiana flair.
Yes.
Can't miss that out. So usually, what do people in New Orleans eat this with? If not, I mean, we're using conch and clams. What meats do they usually use?
They use crayfish and they use shrimp for this dish mostly. And that's a little cayenne.
A little cayenne pepper that we're putting there.
Right. And we definitely have to add some more thyme because, I mean, we're Bahamians, right?
Thyme.
And we need thyme in everything.
Yes, thyme is the plug. I love it.
So
this smells really good, you guys. This looks like a romantic dish already. I mean, we aren't really done with the entire meal, but this smells really good. You can smell piles of conch. The clam just complements it all. Those veggies that we use, the herbs. That roux, you see how thick it is? Is this like the perfect consistency for you?
It is the perfect consistency.
All right.
And they call it, this is a smother. That's what they call it.
Smother.
Like, we call it gravy, but they call this a smother.
So what other meats would you suggest we make something like this? After we've made the roux, like what other meats do you think we can pour into there?
Well, if you don't have clams, you could use lobster. Lobster would probably be good.
What about like meat, like other seafood?
Like chicken?
Like meat.
I know,
like
we love chicken. You can put sausage.
I love sausage.
You can use like andouille sausage or and chicken, but it's really supposed to be a seafood dish.
Yeah.
If you want sausage, then have jambalaya because you got that sausage and seafood with vegetables in jambalaya.
All right, and so is that done?
It looks pretty done to me.
That was very simple, very easy to make. If you got home at 5 o'clock on Valentine's Day, you could still make this dish and have you and hubby or the boyfriend, still have an amazing meal on Valentine's Day. Let's check on our rice now.
Yes.
As I said earlier, we did not mix this rice at all.
No, and it looks perfect. Nice and white and fluffy, not sticky at all.
Not at all friendly. Like this is real rice.
Yes, this is real rice, real quick.
And our dish is done?
We are
That took
done.
us all of what, 15 minutes maybe?
20.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Yep.
Not bad at all. This is indeed a Valentine's Day dish. So when we come back from the break, you guys, Chef De Swann and I are going to taste.
Yes.
All right, this is Chef It Up. We'll be right back with our Conch and Clam Etouffee. Welcome back to Chef It Up, everyone. It's time now to dig into our Conch and Clam Etouffee.
Yes.
Right? It was a very simple dish that we made, a Bahamian spin on a Louisiana classic. Chef De Swann threw it down real easy, real simply. Took about 25, 30 minutes, and now we're going to taste.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig in. So we're going to plate now.
Let's grab our plates.
All right. And again, guys, if you weren't able to make it out or, make those reservations for Valentine's Day today, stay at home, try a dish. This is a perfect one to make. Has a little bit of aphrodisiac in there with the conch, so it's Valentine's Day, right?
Yes,
Why not?
Yes. So we're just gonna put a little
jasmine rice. And of course, no dish, no meal, no day is complete without some wine. So
Right.
as she dishes up our meal, I'm just going to pour a couple of glasses for us. And we're using a Chardonnay today. Any specific reason?
The white wine goes well with the seafood dish that we have going on here. So
white wine and seafood.
yes.
All right. So the Chardonnay should be perfect then.
Yes.
Perfect marry, perfect pairing.
So we're just gonna add a little of these clams
All right.
and pieces of conch. Make it a little fancy. Like you put some work into it,
And it really looks elaborate, but it took us nothing to make.
Yeah.
But it smells really good.
You just get a little bit of that sauce and you smother it.
That's that smother that we made with that flour and the butter and
Right.
the onions and the celery.
Let's get a little on the other plate
All right.
so we can eat this up.
This smells so good. That could be my own. That's fine. I can get a double dose. That's fine.
Okay.
That could be my own.
We'll just give you a little bit of that so you can get some of that
This
conch
smells
in
really
there.
good, and I can see what you say about this being like the sister or so to the jambalaya and paella and what else? The gumbo.
Right.
Of course, Louisiana dish. Very juicy, I'd like to say. They always have a lot of sauces and a lot of smothers going on in their food, so you can see hints of that here. And we're just sprinkling on now some green onions.
Yes.
It's time to eat.
It's time to eat.
All right, well, I'm gonna pass this to you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let me just dig into.
Thank you.
All right, let's see how our, I keep wanting to say shrimp, our conch and clam etouffee comes out. That is good. This is like more than Valentine's Day food. This is comfort food. And I could come home and literally just ball up with this all day, every day. It's warm. It's almost like a soup. Like that smother that we put on there, almost like a soup, so it goes down real good. That thick broth. Of course, that conch, piles of just Bahamianness in there.
Yes.
Our rice is not sticky at all. Not friendly. This is really good.
And this wine is
Let me
good
just
with
get
it too.
some of that clam out. You like it? Do you often eat your own food?
Sometimes when I'm in the mood.
That's not often.
I prefer to eat other people's food.
Really?
Yeah. And this conch is very tender.
Yes. That was really good. Really, really, really good. A seafood dish that, like I said, we made in less than half an hour about.
Yep.
Not hard to make at all. So Chef De Swann, what would you want someone to take home from this? Just like what is your reason for cooking such hearty meals like this?
Well, here's the thing. Cooking is easy and everybody loves food. So make stuff that you love. Make things that are filled with flavor and layers of flavor so that you can have something different from the regular fried chicken or steamed chicken or steamed pork chops that we have all the time. And this is something interesting and something that we don't have every day. So it's a nice change for
I've never
V-Day.
even heard of an etouffee before you came to the kitchen today, but as you can see, guys, let me just move this wine out of the way. As you can see here, inside here we get a little bit of everything inside those clam shells, and I think that's the fun part about this. You see the celery, you see those bell peppers, you see some of that Cajun spice that we put in there.
Right.
This is great.
The flavor is real.
I think I want to try and make this. I don't know if it's going to be for Valentine's Day, but I think I'm going to make this.
But you can do this. It's affordable and it's simple.
Yes.
It just looks complex when you get it on the plate.
And that's the good part about food, right? And being a chef. It looks hard to do, but it's really simple to do. Chef De Swann.
And it tastes like it took hours to make.
This tastes really, 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 really good. Thank you so much.
Thank
Cheers.
You. Cheers. Happy Valentine's Day.
And happy Valentine's Day, you guys. This has been Chef It Up. Try this meal. Like I said, if you weren't able to get those reservations, if today was just too busy for you, go home, get some conch, get some clams, and make this conch and clam etouffee. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see you next time.